Hi, I'm Rich Torrey. Welcome to another Level Up Cartooning. With the beginning of the school year upon us, I'm going to ramp up the instructional side of things with some of my lessons, starting with a few on drawing heads in different directions. Let me know in the comments if you like this direction and any topics you might want me to hit. In today's lesson, I've got a pretty crazy mix of characters. Charlie Brown, Wirt from the beautifully animated Over the Garden Wall, and Ronnie Ann Santiago from the Casagrandes. I want you to pay particular attention to how using guidelines can help you to better understand and draw those characters' heads as they begin to turn. As always, all you need to follow along with me today is pencil and paper. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? Before we get started, make sure you hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button as it helps this channel to grow, and hit the bell so you never miss a lesson. Okay, so let's make some heads turn. I'm going to draw each of our characters' heads step by step, giving you the secret formula to be able to draw them again and again. We'll draw a straight head pose, then a three-quarter head pose, and finally a profile. In each, we'll use guidelines to help line up the features as we turn those heads. Remember, guidelines are there to guide you, but you don't want them there at the end, so you want to draw them light enough so you can easily erase them or clean them up. No need to embed them in your paper. We're going to use the same Level Up Cartooning 3-step process I use in all of my drawing lessons. In other words, we don't start with details, we start simple, we start light, and we draw a road map, then we rough out the features, and finally we draw in those details. We're going to start with Charlie Brown, who may seem like he's the simplest of the three characters to draw, but I warn you, Charlie Brown's head is surprisingly difficult to master. As you will see, it's not exactly a perfect oval, so pay attention. Okay, so let's draw Charlie Brown's head. So there's Charlie Brown's head, straight on, 3/4 angle, and profile. In our second character, Wirt, from Over the Garden Wall, we have his pointy hat to deal with. Probably the most challenging thing about that is to get the curve of the line where the hat meets his head correct. Okay, so let's try Wirt from Over the Garden Wall. There we have Wirt, straight on, 3/4 angle, and profile. If you have any problems, I encourage you to pause or go back and watch any of the angles as many times as you need to. Also, I remind you to draw those guidelines in lightly. Okay, so we've got one more quick segment. Our final character is going to be Ronnie Ann Santiago from the Casagrandes. What makes Ronnie Ann a little more challenging than the first two is the fact that her head shape changes as we go from straight on pose to the other two. That's because she has a little indent on the side of her face where her temple meets her cheek. Just something to keep in mind. All right, so let's draw in Ronnie Ann. Okay, so there she is, Ronnie Ann, straight on, 3/4, and profile. So how do you think you did? Understand, if you've never drawn these characters before, if you've never used these type of guidelines before, and if you've never drawn these types of face angles before, you can't expect to have drawn them perfectly. Don't let the fact that you may have found it challenging take the fun out of it. Embrace the challenge. That's what it's all about. You notice I don't spend time coloring them during this video because I want my lesson to focus solely on the drawing process. Now you have the secret formula, the process for drawing these characters' faces in different angles. With that, you can draw them again and again, and by all means color them when you're done. I promise each time you draw them, it'll be a little better and a little easier. I also promise the more you work with me, the better you're going to get at all of your cartoon characters. For those of you who want to go a little deeper, click on the link below for my free 4-part drawing series, where I spend more time explaining the details and the thinking behind each step in what I call the level up cartooning process. So now I'd love to see your drawings of Charlie Brown, Wirt, and Ronnie Ann. If you can, take pictures and post them on either Facebook or Instagram, and don't forget to include the hashtag #LevelUpCartooning. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this one. Remember to subscribe, and thanks for joining me. Until next time, keep drawing, my friends.